an expert in not only helping you dress professionally for an interview, but a question we get a lot in the Center for Current Calling is, what is exactly is business casual? So she's going to cover that and much more. And one of my favorite tips that she presents is on where to find good quality clothing at bargain prices, at affordable prices, which is huge. Not only for college students, but I mean, this is going to serve you throughout your career. Dr. Copeland, a lot of you probably know her, has worked in retail management and served as a consultant for businesses with individuals, helping them with branding and professional development. She's conducted workshops globally and is an expert on issues of diversity through examining differences in dress, behavior, and social values. She's currently assistant professor in clothing and textiles here at SPU, and we are really excited to have her here to share her really high intellect and cultural awareness with you. So I would like you to join me in welcoming Dr. Copeland.
Okay, good afternoon. So thanks for the introduction, Patty. And so you all should have gotten one of these. It's actually like a 4-page document. So they said they're going to email you the other pages. So there's going to be this one with professional dress, and then there's one with a business casual page, and then one with like colors and the meanings, and then another one with just like shoes and pants for guys. Don't forget my guys. And then the last page would have like, like how to think about where you can shop for garments, right? But you only have this one today, so. Okay, good. All right, so I entitled my presentation, Never Truly Quiet, because you're always communicating through dress, even if you're not intentionally communicating, right? So you would hear people speak about dress in many different ways. So some people will be like, I don't really think dress matters. Some people, dress matters a lot, and you can tell because every day they spend a lot of time to get dressed, right? And guys, if you ever had a girlfriend like that, you know how much time she would put in. Good, so it could be the bane of one's existence, but at the end of the day, your dress really matters. And it really decides on how you want to control what you say by your dress and appearance. So I have this slide here just to show you. For some people, they're like, yeah! I got to wake up today and I'm getting to, this opportunity to get dressed. For some of the people, it's just anxiety. Like they don't want to think about it. They just get sick. I mean, they have an interview, they're wobbling. So it means different things to different people. But the reason that there's so many emotions attached to one's appearance and dress is because you're communicating even if you think you're not trying to communicate. Like there are people who I don't care, my intellect will speak for me, all that sweet stuff. But that's going to hinder you if you don't realize that you have to be very intentional about your dress, right? So one of the things people have been saying a lot now is personal brand. How many people heard that thing, personal brand? I know it's like hackneyed. Oh, what's your personal brand? What's your personal brand? Well, I like to view it from a very practical way, right? So if you think about personal brand, I think, with my students, they always try to get this exact definition, but I'm like, how about you think of 3 words you want someone, anyone, your professors, your friends, your parents, an interviewer, to say about you when you're not listening. So if you were just to appear when you leave after interacting with them, what are 3 words you would want someone to say about you? Throw out some words. What are some words? Any word, anybody, just throw out words. Let's make this fun. Pardon me? Friendly, okay. What else? Professional. Give me another one. Driven. Okay, give me another one. Smart. Okay, great. So, smart, friendly, professional, driven. Do you believe that you can actually communicate those things and control what your appearance says? And almost like plant those seeds in the onlooker's head. So when they hear your name, oh, tell me what you think about Sally. She's so professional and driven. She's always well put together. When you're well put together, people automatically assume that you're smart, they automatically assume that you have it together. I mean, your life may be a wreck. But just because every day you appear, you are so well put together, they just associate a lot of like positive messages and connotations to you until they get to know you, and then if you're a wreck, they will know. But the point is at least you'll get the job, right? And really, the thing about personal branding, right, is consistency. So another exercise I do with my students is to think about yourself as a product, right? That's the easiest way to view it. So let's go again. When you think of Apple, tell me what are some things you think about Apple? What are they trying to communicate with their brand? What are some words when you think of Apple products? Innovative. Innovative, what other word? User-friendly. User-friendly, what other word?
Quality.
Quality, good. So, they have intentionally branded themselves through advertisements, which would be that visual branding, through the quality of the product they give you, and just the way they just communicate, period, about their product. Even if you look at the advertisements, you know, the guy is very relaxed in his dress and he's talking about the product like if, I mean, even grandma could use it. It's so user-friendly, right? So that is intentional, and that is why every time I ask an audience what they think about Apple, the same brand associations come up. So you see how this works? If you're not thinking about your dress, you're literally leaving money at the table. Seriously. Like, it should be fun. You should be like, I get to craft what someone thinks about me through my dress. And then you really have to sit and reflect and be like, well, I guess the part is because people, you know, it's either you grew up in a family that emphasized it or they didn't. But it's not too late, right? This is why you have this presentation. So you have to decide what 3 words, because you can't come up with 10. That's too much, too many. Just 3. Okay, what 3 words you want someone to think when someone else asks about you? And you even have to think about that in the classroom, because a lot of students don't think that their professors are the ones to give them recommendations. So when a corporation calls me and they're like, oh, tell me what you think about Mary, those 3 words is what you want me to say, whatever you want me to say, but you have to intentionally keep planting that in my head, right? So you do that through dress and behavior, right? Like what you see. Okay, so we clear on that. So that's the foundation. Now I'm kind of going to go through the rest. I put this here, and you will get this in your handout when they email it to you. Color. Color is something you can use to manipulate what people think about you, right? So if you wear a lot of black, what can someone think about you? All black. You're always in all black. What you think? Super conservative, what else? Serious, right? So that is why sometimes they'll be like, okay, you can get a black suit, but maybe navy blue, maybe softer, because sometimes black communicates seriousness, like you're really, really serious. And if you wear it all the time, I mean, I remember like my PhD chair, she told me she would wear black. She was very kind of classic, so she will wear black and grays all the time. And a student wrote on her evaluation, she must be a witch. She wears black all the time. Yes, students write stuff like that, exactly. But anyway, so she mentioned that. But the reason I gave that is because to that student, her wearing black all the time had associations with her being a witch. Okay, so there are different colors, right, that you can use to communicate what you want to communicate. When someone wears a gold bow tie, they look luxurious. When someone wears, let's say, what is it, like brown, you know, you feel real earthy and comfortable. So colors matter, and it's something that you really need to intentionally think about. So that is just in general what you want to communicate and the type of corporation you're going for. Like if you're going for like a corporation that is like eco-friendly, what kind of colors you may want to wear? Green, you see, but you don't go up in a green suit, right? But I'm just saying, you find some way to put the green in. So they'll be like, they may not necessarily think about it, right? Because remember, these are the tricks behind the door. The person interviewing you more than likely may know nothing about fashion, but the point I'm making is that people, even if they know about fashion or not, even the most unfashionable people judge people. And it's because you've been socialized by the media and by your parents to connect certain like dress choices with, you know, certain connotations. Okay, So I'll just run through this. So I just use this slide to show you that corporations, they have different brand identities, right? Like if you look at J. Crew can have some conservative things, but yet one or two little floral or edgy things. You know, I think of Michelle Obama wearing J. Crew all the time, right? So you can decide what corporation, like what corporation styles matches your like brand identity, right? And then that could kind of help you streamline your shopping rather than going just all over the place. If you go to more of a like a private brand, and a private brand is a company like Ann Taylor, like you could only get Ann Taylor products at Ann Taylor, well then it's easier for you to match your brand to that corporation. Like I tend to sometimes like Express or Ann Taylor Loft, and you see these pants are from Loft. I like Loft. Yeah, so I tend to do that, so it really makes shopping easy for me. If you go to Nordstrom, I know a lot of people in Washington loves Nordstrom. Okay, great, hoo-hoo. But remember, when you go in there, if dress is not your area, you're going to feel overwhelmed, because what's going to happen? You're going to have to search through all those racks, look at all those different brands, figure out which brand fits you best to get you an outfit. Whereas if you go to a private brand like Express, Ann Taylor, BCBG, and you know their garments fit you well, that is a way to decrease anxiety when shopping. So that's just like a little tip for you. Okay, and of course I didn't forget the guys. There you have it. Okay, yeah, that's for you. Okay, so then now you go to brand awareness, right? I love this slide. I do it every time. It is my go-to to show you that at the end of the day, people do think something about you when someone asks about you, right? So the brand awareness is the ability for the consumer, the interviewer, your professor, to recall your brand characteristics by name, logo, whatever, right? So do you know who this is? Rachel Maddow, right? Okay, MSNBC. Who's this? Good. And who is this? Jesse, good. Right. So the point I'm making is that just even looking at them, you know who they are. And I'm sure if you think about Simon Cowell, what do you think about? What's the words that come to your mind when you hear Simon Cowell? Sadness. Did somebody say sadness? That's lovely. What else? What else with Simon Cowell? Harsh. His t-shirts, exactly. He has intentionally branded himself. No matter what day it is, he will either be in a white t-shirt or a black t-shirt, and that's all you're getting. Don't you think that's intentional? Like people will be like, oh, why doesn't he wear a shirt? But he's intentionally doing that, because even if you cut out his eyes, like up to here, and you just watch his mouth on the white tee, you know it's Simon Cowell. Like he cannot hide, because you know the white tee. You just know it's him. So that's what I'm saying. For someone to be able to recall who you are and speak to, like say the same things about you, like different people, you have to have a consistency of your brand throughout all channels. So you see, like when you think of companies, they have online stores, they have a brick and mortar store, they have representatives. They try to communicate a seamless message through all their channels, so everyone gets the same idea on who they are, right? So, okay, good. So brand trust, okay? So your appearance and your behavior matters because you want people to trust what they know about you. When I refer a student to a job, I mean, I feel as if that reflects on me. So I want to be able to say that I know that this student is professional, this student is responsible. And when you say professional, responsible, like a serious student, someone can make those assumptions just from the way you appear in the interview. Okay, they just, if you come to the interview late, all of that is in your appearance and how you communicate. They're like, oh, that student is not as responsible as the professor said she is, right? So it's the ability for someone to trust that when they say this is who you are, you deliver, right? So let's give some examples. Who's this? Okay, right? Do you think people trust Bill Clinton? You see? Yeah, Bill Clinton went down a slide. He went down the proverbial slide with Monica. We know he did. But you know, he tried, you know. Barack Obama gave him a chance to reveal himself. You know, he marketed a little, and I think people kind of forgot about Monica a little. Okay, then who's this? On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you think people trust Sarah Palin to run their country? Okay, we'll just leave her alone. Okay, and then, who is this? Exactly. Once again, you see, we'll just stop. Right, so the point is trust. Trust. Like everything you do, from the way you appear to the way you speak, like it all has to be seamless so people can say, huh, when I hear the word Sarah Palin, what do I think about? And that's what I'm saying. She has branded herself, and I honestly think she continues to say controversial stuff because she's okay with that brand. That is her brand. Like, you think people will be like, oh my gosh, she's just dumb. I'm like, well, she may not be intellectually acute, but she's smart because she has a niche. She figured out who her target market is, and she is consistently being that controversial individual and brand. You see, so sometimes you think someone is not doing something intentionally because you wouldn't do it, but there is a business approach to everyone, right, for them to get the market they want. Okay. All right, so the big picture is that you're communicating in this sphere here, right? So you have your nonverbal, right? Stuff that people just look at and they make assumptions, and that is the clothes you wear. It is just even your physical appearance and then your body language, right? So you can be dressed in a suit, but you could be very uncomfortable and uptight, and you're not saying anything, but people will also make assumptions about how friendly you are, right? Or how comfortable you are. So you also have to think about not only what you wear, but how you present yourself. So if people keep telling you you're a little uptight, or your female friends in the dorm, they're like, when I first saw you, I didn't think you were cool. I didn't think we'll be friends. You have to think of that feedback, and some things you take, some things you throw out. But if more than one person is telling you the same thing, more than likely, a stranger, the interviewer, they're gonna think the same thing. So this is the time for you to kind of fix those things that you feel, I don't really wanna be perceived as unfriendly. So I'm going to try to see how best I could change my demeanor so my whole image would be a lot more approachable, right? So you have that, right? So you could wear a suit, but once you open your mouth, once again, that could, as we say in Trinidad, that could do you in. Like literally, you will just be done, just done. They're like, oh God, she's cuter, but whew. All right, then the business environment, that's important because all of this crafting of yourself, it matters for where you're going to interview or where you're going to work, right? If you're just thinking of, I have an interview, and every interview you're thinking about it the same way in regards to dress, then you're not, like you're missing the mark in that regard. Okay, so where do you want to work? This is just a simple slide, but the point I'm making is that I cannot assume that all of you, right, are going to work in the same type of business environment. And I think one of the shortcomings of maybe like professional dress presentations is that everyone focuses on a suit. So then you're left with, well, what about all these other jobs? What do I wear for these jobs, right? So if you're working at Boeing, right, you may be some sort of engineer, and then there's the HR department, but there is a culture at Boeing that you have to figure out. There's a culture at Microsoft, right? There's a culture if you want to work in the exercise industry. There's a culture there. Nostrum, different culture there. I mean, they want people extremely trendy, right? So you have to know these things. Amazon, it's a very serious firm. They work hard, but they're still going to be dressed relatively laid back, right? So a law firm, they're about business, so then you go there in the suit. If you work in a lab, or if you work, like, let's say you're a mechanical engineer, or you're working with a construction company, you have to think about the corporation, and then you have to think about what you're going to wear for that interview. You don't just wear no, a suit is not cool for every interview, because you know what? If you wear the suit to like LA Fitness, or maybe even, let's put it this way, a shirt and tie for guys, it will always work. But when you start putting the jacket and you're uptight, you really communicate like too serious of a brand for the environment that you're going to. Some of them are laid back, and they want to know that you have called and researched their culture before you show up for the interview. So if they're a calm culture, you can be like, hey, what is the dress culture there? What is the best, what is the best way for me to dress for this interview? They're like, oh, we're a business casual firm. So then, business casual, then that anxiety increases because there's a whole brand of what is business casual. But let me say it to you, my friends living in Seattle, it is not yoga pants. Okay, it is not yoga pants. No form of exercise. It is the bane of my existence. I mean, we will tell students, oh, we're having a little, social event. We want to give you scholarships award, and they'll show up in yoga pants. You have to start now. You see, I still remember. This is how scarred I am. I still remember them showing up in yoga pants. That's the point. People oftentimes don't remember we remember the extremely good, and then we remember the bad. So then, the people in the middle, they just get to pass, right? So you want to know where you fit on the scale, but we do remember the yoga pants. Okay, so a good match, right? So you are the individual. You have to know what occupation you want, what organization you want to work with, and what's the broader industry, right? So just keep remembering that. Be like, okay, I am individual. I want to communicate professional, serious, responsible, flexible, whatever. But you have to make sure that those words, when you dress, they fit into the industry and the corporation you want to work with. Okay, you all with me? Good. All right, so now we go to the dress portion, dressing for the interview. Right, so you have your women's essentials, and I always say you have your suits, your blazers, your blouses. Now, camisoles are really, really important. Like, if you can go and collect a few camisoles, there's some with like the lace neckline, some just simple. They're really, really helpful because you can mix and match that and make it business casual with like your suit pants, right? Shirts, a black dress, any kind of dress. And we'll talk about fit in some other slides. A nice coat, but I think in Seattle, a lot of people, or in Washington, a lot of people have, really nice coats. But, if your coat looking kind of sad, you may want to, leave it for more casual events. Okay, so your watch, your bag, and you want to, let me just say this because I don't think I have this on the slide. Now, remember, you're going for a job as a graduate. So even though you like all your, like those Coach bags with all the C's on it, and I know it's cool, you feel like you're in the status quo. But when you're going for a job, I think you want to veer away from communicating any kind of brand name status. I know in your head you think they will care, but if it is a corporate, maybe for Nostrum, a company that is trendy and fashion forward, they would maybe appreciate certain things like that. But the average company, you don't want to communicate like you're rich already. In Trinidad, we say that, you're already rich, so you don't really need my job. So you want to really think of every piece of garment you wear, right? Or every accessory you choose to wear, because you don't want to come across as if you already have all this money and you're high maintenance and that sort of, right? So just think about having things that do not communicate like big brand logos and so forth. All right. So shoes that, like the flats and stuff, that really depends on your ability to walk. And heels, I know like Washington State is a very laid back culture. I mean, I wear heels a lot today. This one is short. This is cool. I think most people can walk in this. But if your walk is not pretty or sexy in heels, just go flat. I mean, it's okay. But I do think, you could practice. I think, a little heel just because, and guys, just because you don't wear it, I really do think wearing a little bit of heel, it makes you feel, you walk more upright, and you just have to think a little more. You know how much thinking I do every day? Because I wear lots of heels. I mean, literally, I think when I walk down the stairs, literally, I can't get caught in my heel, they may go in the little ridges, the concrete. I don't fall because I'm always thinking. I step in it and I get up and then I go. I don't fall, right? So you need to practice, because at some point, according to the corporation you're working in, they would require you to wear heels to complete your outfit, right? Stockings, I know there are, two schools of thought on that. If you're wearing skirts, it may be, I think, more polished to wear like a form of stockings. That way if you didn't put on lotions, at least you're covered. The thing with stockings, though, is that you may always have to have like a pair, an extra pair, because, they may tear or get a run in them and then you feel anxious. So you can go, like with flesh, just with your skin, or you can get like some stockings that match your skin color or match the color of your outfit, your skirt. Okay, hygiene, mints, nails, perfume, and of course you don't kill them with smells, right? Everyone knows this because people may be allergic, so. All right, so this is just kind of like a simple slide showing you like lengths of pants, nice simple shoes. I would say for the interviews, like I know I have a lot of pattern shoes and I just like to be a little edgy, but for an interview, I wouldn't do that. I would just go real simple. So once again, there are no distractions. Earrings, yeah. I mean, so you may have 4 or 5, but I would say once again, just go with 1. I mean, these are basic things, but I think it's important for someone to say it to you again. So, you know, when you're rushing and you're nervous for your interview, you may forget, you know, all your earring and the little hook on top here and the earring here and yeah. Okay, good. So just in case, I'm just saying it. So when you replay this in your head, you're like, oh, she did say take out these earrings. Okay. And your chains, you know, that is a modest chain. You could wear pearls, but of course, once again, the goal is always to be memorable, but not distracting, right? So you don't want them to be focusing on your chain the entire time or focusing on something on you. You just want them to be listening to what you say. All right, so men's essentials, right? So you have a 2 or 3 button suit, or you could even just have like a 1 button, you know, like jacket. The more buttons, the more uptight you may look, you know, the more stuff you may look. And, you know, when you sit, you unbutton it and you look, you know, relaxed. Because you don't want to sit with it buttoned and you're there talking like this, like a T-Rex. Okay. Okay, so you have your overcoats, your dress shirts, undershirts. That's really important. And I think I used to forget this on my previous PowerPoints, but we'll talk about this. Undergarments are very important. We're going to cover that today. You're lucky. Yes, ties, cufflinks. Once again, you know, if you're going to do cufflinks, it's simple. I don't think, you know, the thing about it is people, I think interviewers expect college students to be relatively broke. So they just really want you to show up like looking, you know, like just looking like you tried, looking like because they're not expecting you to come with like super, you know, stylish cufflinks. They're not looking for things like that. Now, when you're in the corporation for 10 years or when you've been working for a longer time, well, then maybe at those levels you'd be interviewing for. People will expect different looks, but at this stage, you're just trying to look polished, right? So you could do lace-up shoes, you know, that tends to be the more professional shoes, but once again, just don't do any shoes that look very, like, casual. You know, some shoes look way more casual than others. Yeah, your socks, that could be an opportunity for you to show some of your personality. Like I know some people, they're just really trendy. So you can use your socks to show some personality. Now, when I say personality, I don't mean like your SpongeBob socks from, you know, that you hold on to, or the socks with the creatures. Just maybe, you know, just socks with little colors on it, you know, but no animation, no animation. Okay, I know it's your lucky socks, but you know, we could leave that for when you get the job. Okay, so a briefcase, you know, or whatever case you have. But once again, just think of these garments, and that's a good investment. Think of these accessories, I mean, because whatever case you get, you can use it for a while. And you want something that's really easy, you know. Think of when you're nervous. When you're buying these items, think of if I'm nervous and I'm shaking, how easy it would be for me to take out my resume or get my different documents for them. An umbrella, I always tell men, like for men and women, but you know, as a guy, you know, we really don't want our hair wet as women. So if you have an umbrella and you know you put on, you know, you're going to dinner with your interviewer and you take out the umbrella and you shelter her from the rain, I'm sure you'll win a little doggy points. I can guarantee you'll win some doggy points. She may tell you no, but at least these are things you can think about, so you're prepared. You're prepared. Okay, so a dress versus a sports watch. Everyone knows what the sports watch is, all right? Okay, so that wouldn't be for that, it wouldn't be for an interview. A haircut and no accessories. I say no accessories, I say go with that. Okay, and this is just some examples. Now, most of you should know how to tie a tie, but you know, a well-tied tie will have a dimple. Right, so that's just something you could practice. Oh, I did put this here. And this, you're gonna get it on the document, but I think it's a cute guide to just show, or useful guide to show, okay, if you have on a navy suit, you could wear a black or brown suit. A mid-gray suit, you could wear black or brown. If you have charcoal, you'll wear black, brown, you'll wear brown, black, you'll wear black. So that's a good guide for, you know, guys to know, or even women to know how to match colors, you know, with your suit and your shoes. Right, you see, you could even, you know, use your colors right there with your little kerchief. You find different ways to express yourself. All right. Right, so just some examples of men accessories. Clearly he's You know, he's really trendy, so he may be going for an interview at Nostrum. Yeah, but you know, otherwise you don't need to be as trendy. And you know, of course, you think of your lengths, right? The lengths of your jacket in regards to your shirt, and you know, these are the kind of socks I'm talking about. You could go, you know, not too bright, but you know, something that, you know, you can express yourself in. Okay, good. So we could jump on these. So when you're buying garments, which I know you do, some more than others, you always want to do a garment check. Because nothing is worse than buying a garment and then getting home and realizing that there's some flaw on it. Good test. I will tell you, go TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and shop. I love those places. But make sure that the garment is of good quality. Make sure it's not that cheap, shiny material that, you know, when you go out in the light, you're sending messages to Mars and stuff. You know, you just want to make sure that, you know, it doesn't look, once again, not distracting. If you have to stop and think, is this a little too shiny? You may want to leave it, right? Just even the fact that you have to stop and think. Your seams, that goes into fit, right? So you really want to try on your garment before you leave. I know there are individuals who hate to like just try on clothes, but you have to try it on to make sure that it's the appropriate length and fit and that you'll be comfortable. When you're in the dressing room, put it on and sit down and get up and bend over and do different things. You know, have a conversation with yourself in the mirror and see how things go, because you're actually getting a reflection of how it would look to the onlooker. Right hemline, you know, is your pants a good length? Sometimes people think, oh, well, if it's too long at school, no. Too long, too short is a problem. Just, you know, check for those, make sure your hems are even, your zipper works, all the buttons are there, and there's no tugging. Look, I have been through it all. I mean, I was an undergrad, I was a foreigner. I've been through all the faux pas, let me tell you. You know, you buy the shirt, you know, and you know, girls, you know, you buy your shirt, and I guess men, you know, you may have, the shirt may have fit when you're slim, but then you build all this muscle, and then, you know, your button is just pulling. Yeah, I've done it all, and I'm here to tell you it's not comfortable. So you really just want to go with something that fits you appropriately, not too big, not too small, and I think that's something that people maybe, you know, think they could get away with. Oh, well, my clothes is not too tight, but your clothes too big, right? So it's the same distracting communication. If it's too big, people think you're sloppy. If it's too tight, people think you're a little raunchy. So you just want to be in the middle. Okay, so you're lining. Oh, make sure that you're lining and you can be friends. I mean, the lining, you know, some lining is stick on your legs. So that stockings would help with lining issues, but just make sure that it is a material that drapes easily and doesn't pull up. So all of these things you have to think about. But if you try it on, it would really, really help. Okay, so what is business casual? In the handout you would get, you would see some examples here. Okay, 107 after. Right, so the handout you're going to get would show you options for business casual, right? And it just really depends. Of course, you don't want to shop anywhere without like a jacket or a cardigan, but these are just some nice examples of how you can dress and communicate like a more casual style. I mean, sweaters over shirts are always a go, right? So when you get that, you can look it through, and of course, you would have this document that tells you about what are your appropriate lengths. Okay. So let's go back to this. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. I wanted to have a slide for fit. You see? That is way too big. This is too big. And you see how you could tell they just don't look polished. Like even if he thinks he's fly and all that, he is not polished, right? Because he may have borrowed his brother's suit and it's too big. This guy, yeah, this is after Christmas. He may have ate a little too much, so now his button is tugging. So, I mean, you could wear it, but you'll just have to unbutton it very, very soon after you get into the interview. While this is fine, I still think her pants is a little too big. Can you see what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't look as polished as it can look. Even with spandex, it's a little too tight. You see right there, that's what I'm talking about. You see those little, yeah. If you can't pull, shrug, bend over without your buttons trying to run away, then you don't wear it a little too tight. You know, any kind of cat whiskers, any kind of wrinkles. You know, we know these things, but I'm here to tell you that we just have to don't do it. We just have to stop and be like, you know what? I would not wear this today. Okay, so don't get uncomfortable. Undergarments matter, right? And this is something like, I don't know why I never spoke about it before. It matters. You see VSPs, visible like panty lines, VPLs, yes. That is not cute. That is distracting. It is distracting. And when you go into like business casual, it is a huge problem, right? Because you may wear shirts in your pants, you may not have your jacket on, right? So all of these things are problems. Not these stockings, right? Fishnets. Okay, good. So the reason I have this as a standalone, because I think there's some underwears with very like thick seams, right? And they're comfortable. I mean, you feel happy in them. But they are the biggest culprits right there. They would show up under your garments. Just for Seattle, only for you. A sports bra is not a bra. Okay, and then this right here, we have to say these things. I know there's somebody who wears sports bra to wear. I know, I could. Anyways, this is the difference in undergarments. Now, once again, I've been a culprit. Not my fault. I mean, I left my country to come up, so I went through all these faux pas. Your bra, it's really, really important. You should get fitted for your bra because that is what you're talking about. You're talking about either looking sad or looking upright and ready to work, right? That's the difference. That is the difference, and it's a huge difference. It really makes a difference on how your garments fit. It matters, seriously. Like if you've never gotten fitted for a bra, when you get a bra that fits and you're able to raise your hand and it's not raised or anything, oh my God, they're gonna love you. They're gonna be like, oh, thank you, we're free at last. They're gonna be so happy because they're not gonna be due. It makes a difference in how your suits and your shirts fit. I'm here to tell you. Okay, so you really wanna think about those things. And the more intentional you are when you're shopping is the less you're going to have a faux pas, right? Because oftentimes you're rushing. So you need to think about your seam lines. You need to think of getting seamless garments or even just the whole control briefs. I mean, hey, those are friendly. You know, and then not every bra is for every garment. I think that's like a full coverage bra is great, but if there's a low neckline, it's not so great. So I just put these things here so you can think about it when you're shopping and you're putting your garments together because you need different styles of bra. And the push-up bra is great, but not necessarily on the day when you're wearing your low neckline. Because once again, you don't want to look like if you're communicating something other than what you want to communicate. Okay, so men, you see, this is an important side because you have male friends who are guilty of this. This, even though it's under your shirt, it is not it. It is not it. Man, and you know guys who will wear old t-shirt under their shirt? Exactly. You don't have to say if you're a culprit, but I know you know men who do that. Okay, the pattern shirt under, it shows. I mean, I've worked and I've seen men doing it all the time, have all their graphics under their t-shirts. I'm just planting it in your head. Don't do it. You know, the two-tone colored, and even just like a short sleeve, sometimes that could be really problematic because it shows up, right? So I just think the safest way is just to go with a regular tank. Oh, you see the sexy tank here? Yeah, all these sexy tanks. If it's a white shirt, I think it's gonna show up, I mean, I know you're too sexy for yourself, but maybe you just go with something simple. That's what I would say. So I'm just planting the seed for you to think about those garments, right? So appropriate. So these are things that may happen often. And as I said, according to your work environment, it may work, it may not work. But, this is never okay, It's never okay. I mean, never. Well, you know what? Maybe if you work in the techie company when you get the job, these, these slinky ones, hey, we've all been guilty. But sometimes, once again, according to the culture, it may be a little too fitted, a little too slinky, too short, even with the stockings. Some people like it's short, but I'm putting on stockings. I'm good now. Okay, so the see-through shirt, I mean, once again, not by itself and definitely with a jacket that could button right here, no. And this right here represents, the wrinkle garment that, you put on. I'm sure we've all worn a wrinkle garment once. No, yeah, so no. Okay, so distractions. It's okay. It's okay. There are different schools of thought on hairy legs. However, if you're not going to wear stockings, you may just want to think about that because, as I said, you may love it. Your significant other may like your hairy legs, but it may be distracting on the interview. I don't know. So big earrings, multiple bangles. Like these are really, really nice. But of course, when you're talking and you're interviewing, they make click and clock. So you want to think about that. Heavy makeup, a little distracting. Oh, all these pretty nails they do now, they're really, really nice. Not so much, right? Not for your interview. So these are just things you have to think about because it's not something that may come like as regularly. The tattoos, I mean, I know Seattle is Tattoo Nation, but you really have to think about where you're putting them and how it's going to interact with your garments. Never, never. Unless you're going for a job at a tattoo shop. Okay? And you know, you just have to think about the after effects. Right? So I put this there. So all of these things are cool, but once again, when you take them out for your interview, that is what you're left with, right? I'm not judging the style, I'm just saying. Think about it. Okay, and then this is just like tools that I just put it here. You know, a steam is usually really, really good. I used to watch my friend steam all her garments. It helps with maintaining the quality and it's not like direct ironing. And just collect all these, you know, like these tools, these products to shine your shoe or even just for comfort. Right? Because you may have an interview where you have to walk a lot and you really just don't want to be uncomfortable. So I think all of these products are useful for you to kind of collect and have so you can maintain your clothing and accessories and just have it ready for when you're going. Okay, so invest in your future. That's great. I'm broke. Double face palm. Okay, but your suits investment, I am just all about bargain shopping. Yes, you're broke, but I know for a fact that you're purchasing something. I know for a fact that your birthday is coming and your parents are asking you, what do you want? And you're telling them something else. Okay, so what you want to do is just focus on collecting a professional wardrobe that you can use, and you can go to discount retailers and just redistribute your funds. Just decide for a moment that you're going to put money towards getting some professional dress items on sale. Right, so you'll have that on your slides. And I just have some in the last 4 or 5 minutes because it's 1:16, right? So I just have some students who, I told them just dress however they want to dress, come up and line up. I told them dress for wherever they're going. And we don't have a lot of time, but you just, oh, good, right. So you just tell me what is your overall opinion, right? So y'all have to just spell it out, but you have to be polite. You have to be polite, say things in a very polite way, but, I mean, go ahead. But you don't have to say good things, just say them polite way. Okay, go ahead. So what are your impressions? Who stands out to you first? Come on. Uh-huh. She stands out. Why? What about her stands out to you?
I think it's like really good proportions.
Mm-hmm.
Really good fit.
Okay, good, good, good. And what do you think, what one word she communicates to you?
Put together.
Put together? Okay, cool. Okay, somebody else.
I like her cardigan.
Oh, you like, oh yeah, that's really nice. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you like her cardigan. Okay, so what does she communicate to you? What brand do you think she's trying to communicate?
I don't know, she just looks well put together. Like she might be a really, kind of, you know how like you balance interesting and like you might be an interesting person to talk to and also really fun, but also really
Professional? Yeah. Okay, good. Right, so that's how you can use prints to communicate some of your personality because you want to be unique and you want to stand out for that corporation, so you want to be memorable. Good. Okay, so what else? Any faux pas here? Any things that you'll be like, okay, I think this particular person should, yes.
As a woman, I always wonder about hair, like more natural hair.
Yes,
Just like you just more natural. Which is that okay? I don't know.
Okay, good. Which hair? Which
These two looks like yours are. Is that your natural hair?
Yeah, I woke up like this.
Good, good. Right, so that's the point. The point is like they're not necessarily dressed perfectly. That's the point of the exercise for you to apply what you've learned. Okay, good. So hair matters, and sometimes they'll tell you if your hair is too long, that's a problem too. So you want your hair to be like, you know, like an appropriate length, not too long. I mean, it doesn't look as polished. Okay, go ahead. What else before? We have 2 minutes. Yes, go ahead.
I always wonder about jeans. Like, I think, like, this gentleman in particular, like, that looks good together as, like, business casual, but I don't know how that comes across.
Exactly. So you would have to call that corporation and ask them, what do people usually wear at interviews? If it's business casual, I mean, do y'all wear khakis to work? Is that what you want me to wear? Or should I go business casual on the professional side? You see, so you really have to ask the questions, because showing up in a jeans, a sweater, and a bow tie may work for a techie company because they want to see how you can fit in there. But you have to ask the questions. Yes.
So I like Raedene's outfit, but I think her skirt might be too short. And she
Okay.
would be over.
Good. You know her skirt is too short. Oh, yeah, nice. I love the politeness. Good. So very nice outfit, right? And as I said, you know, even though she put on the stocking, she's like, I mean, it's short, but I'm all covered. Right? Not so much, because it's kind of short. It's cute, but it's short. Okay, good. What else? Anything else? Yes?
I think the first young lady looks fabulous, but I wouldn't wear sandals.
Good. Good. Excellent. So open toe shoes, usually just veer away from it. You know, they're the peep toe shoes, but I would just go with like full coverage shoes, right? So that's very good. I wanted somebody to pick up on that. That's good. Anything else? So if okay, let's say it's a job at Boeing. Who is most dressed for a job at Boeing?
Right, because you guys have to get very more casual, like especially with black shoes.
Okay, okay. Okay, good. Who's dressed for a job at a law firm? You could say no one. I mean, no shame in the game. It's okay. Anybody dressed for a law firm? No. Maybe the first two? First two down now? Okay, okay. Right? So a law firm may be a lot more conservative according to the role you're going for. So they may just want more of a like standardized kind of conservative look. So y'all were on point. But anyways, it's 1:21. I don't know if y'all have class. I don't want to keep y'all. But I hope you learned a thing or two. And thank you for coming to my presentation.